Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
I'm just excited that people stepped up with a sense of urgency and a sense of immediacy based on what our children have needed for a long time.
New here at noon, bridging the digital divide. Detroit Public Schools making a huge announcement that will level the playing field for all Detroit students learning remotely. And we will have much more on that report and the $23 million investment in Detroit kids in just a moment. Also, a business raided by the state because of improper coronavirus treatments. We'll have a report on that as well. But we do want to begin with this afternoon's big headlines, and that is on this crisis and how it impacts our economy. There are new numbers out that show more than 4.4 million people applied for unemployment benefits just in the last week. About 26 million have filed since this outbreak began, and that's about 1 in 6 Americans losing their jobs since mid-March. In Michigan, 134,000 workers filed for benefits last week, but more than 1.1 million have filed in total. Today, the state announced a new partnership with 200 financial institutions. It gives people a 90-day grace period on their mortgage payments. On MSNBC this morning, Governor Whitmer was asked about today's unemployment news and how it factors into her decision to reopen parts of Michigan's economy.
I know that there are a lot of people who lose jobs. I know that there are a lot of businesses that are worried about whether or not they'll reopen. When I execute the stay home, stay safe order, I know what that's going to mean for isolation and adding to all of these economic troubles that we have in my state budget, as well as in people's household budgets, as well as in our businesses. And yet I also know this, that if we don't follow the science, if we don't learn the lessons of what we need to do to protect life and what's happened and played out in other parts of the world, that the economic woes will be worse, they will be more in-depth, they will be longer.
Tomorrow, we are expecting to learn more about Governor Whitmer's plans to reopen Michigan in phases. Michigan has nearly 34,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus, and more than 2,800 people have died from it. This morning, the FBI raided a Macomb County business because of coronavirus. We are told that it's related to possible improper treatments at the Allure Medical Spa in Shelby Township. Nick Monticelli joins us here now live at the business on 26 Mile in Van Dyke, gathering more information. What have you learned, Nick?
Rhonda, I got to tell you, the information has been kind of spiraling all afternoon, all morning, really, because originally this raid we were told was because of the coronavirus, and now we hear the other side of the story, the medical spa saying it's a big misunderstanding. Either way, there are a lot of people in this community who have questions, especially those who came to this medical spa for treatment. FBI agents executed a search warrant early this morning aimed at Allure Medical Spa, headquartered in this building at 26 Mile Road in Van Dyke. Agents went inside wearing full protective gear to protect themselves from possible exposure. Sources are telling us this raid is because Allure has been allegedly performing COVID-19 treatments, yet there is no approved cure-all. On Allure's Facebook page, a post dated April 18th says, "At Allure Medical, we have been using intravenous vitamin C therapy to treat COVID-19 in non-hospitalized patients with great results." The post then points to a treatment study, which many exist, to see if vitamin C can help. After talking to staff members off camera, some believe this is a misunderstanding, saying the vitamin C is meant to help prevent or shorten the duration. In fact, Dr. Charles Mokes, who owns Allure Medical Spa, did a Facebook Live video giving the IV vitamin C treatment for free to a Detroit cop. In the video, he says, quote, "What I'm finding in practice, I treat a lot of COVID patients, is that if we catch people early, get them on intravenous vitamin C, they turn around really fast. But these federal agents feel differently, investigating the procedures and how they're being marketed." Now, the FBI couldn't officially tell us exactly what was going on, that is procedure when they are executing a search warrant like this, which is still happening behind me here in Shelby Township. But they did allude to the fact that there would be much more coming from this, so stay tuned to see what else they have found and what else they might be looking into. We're live here in Shelby Township. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Very interesting, Nick. Thank you. In a press conference that just wrapped up, Detroit Public Schools CEO Dr. Nikolai Vitti announced that it is teaming up with local businesses and city leaders to give students a chance. We're talking free laptops and internet, $23 million investment to bridge the digital divide. Larry Spruill joins us now live with how the children will get access to these much needed computers and internet. This is wonderful for these kids and families.
Rhonda, this is wonderful and great news for the thousands of students here in Detroit Public Schools. Now, we also know that only 10% of them have access to internet and laptops, but now everyone will have that same opportunity. Let's take a look at how this all will happen. Now, it's a $23 million investment between several Detroit businesses and organizations. This will give all 51,000 students access to a computer, tablet, and high-speed internet in order to complete their online homework assignments. Now, while the schools are closed during the COVID-19 pandemic, Superintendent Nikolai Vitti says only 10% of students within the district have internet access. The other 90% can't do their assignments and could be possibly falling behind. Now, Vitti says the first 6 months of the internet will be fully provided at a low cost, hardwired connection. He just announced a timeline and when all of this to get all of this done.
So starting in June, we should be in a place where we'll begin to distribute the tablets and provide internet access for 6 months. This will allow learning to happen over the shutdown, but it also allows us to think about summer school as far as course recovery, adding to face-to-face learning. Hopefully, we'll be back to school in the fall after Labor Day as planned. But if students or families are reluctant to come back, or employees are reluctant to come back, we can move forward with a blended learning model where perhaps some students are going face-to-face, others that are home.
Now, many of you may be wondering how much will this cost the families. I asked Dr. Vitti that very question, and I'm working on that part of the story on New Tonight at 5. We are live in Easton Market this afternoon. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Just awesome. 50,000 kids will benefit. And we should mention those companies, DTE Energy, the Skillman Foundation, Kellogg Foundation, Quicken Loans, General Motors. They're all headquartered right here in the city of Detroit, and it's nice to see them investing in our kids. Thank you, Larry. Today on Local 4, we take a deeper dive into how distance learning is working for students, not just in Detroit, but all across the metro area. And the answer is it's not the same for every school district and every child. The number of kids actually able to learn and log on and learn may surprise you. And that's all coming up today. We're working on this for our newscast at 4, 5, 6, and 11. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the stock market. Wall Street. Despite the unemployment numbers, stocks are up, recovering even more ground after an historic plunge. The Dow climbed 400 points. S&P and NASDAQ are also up today as well. The only other thing we need to go up is the temperatures. Brandon Rue out in Grosse Pointe Woods with a look at the forecast. And warmer air would be better for you, too, because you've been, really battling the cold temperatures all week out there.
If it's not the cold, it's the birds. I mean, guys, could I get a little just silence? They listen to me. What? How about that? Yeah, we are. All right. We're battling the elements out here in every way possible. One of those, a lakeshore flood warning for Eastsiders, as we see that on the map. It is the shorelines of Monroe, Wayne, Macomb counties. Why? Well, we've got these winds out of the east, so it just adds a little extra wave activity, makes the lake level a little higher. So through midnight, we need to watch that. Also have some wind chills in the low and mid 40s. How about a few showers to boot? We have air temps in the mid 40s, but we do see the wind chills a little cooler than that. And you can see a few showers out there. Rhonda, we are just not able to dig out yet. These are rain showers. Do we have any more wintry mix to fear? We'll see you coming up.
Brandon, I love hearing the birds. It's like the only sign of spring we have out there right now. Thank you. We'll check in with you shortly. In other parts of the country, the weather has proven deadly. Still to come, the aftermath of devastating tornadoes in Texas and Oklahoma and the search for survivors. But first, will there be a second wave of the coronavirus? There are new concerns nationwide as the debate over whether states should reopen hits a tipping point.